Have you ever bullied a teenager before, man?
All the time.
We're about to do one more, man. It's a review, obviously. That's what we do. We review reviews.
Okay, we just need to emphasize here. We are not bullying a teenager, okay? We are doing what we're doing what we do. We review reviews, and this is supposed to be a review. So just hands up, stand back. We're not bullying a teenager.
So we've had many reviews on this channel, and but I don't think we've ever had a review where they don't review.
Obviously, everyone knows FNAF. I think, in general, FNAF is like this kind of... I mean, when it first came out, it was a genre-creating game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Even if you don't like it, you can... It had an impact, but now it's changed.
And now that we're at the 6th game.
It's just 6.
It's crazy to me. It's like the 6th game or some shit.
I was still in high school when the first FNAF came out. I was maybe as old as this little guy here. So he says in this video.
But it's just not what fans of the OG series are used to now.
It's just not true to what the fans of the OG series are used to in terms of, the changes to the game, because the game is different from what it used to be. But that's not why people dislike it. People dislike it for a variety of different reasons, and I mean I don't want to go into them right now. We're going to go into them shortly, but just to show, he's kind of like he's trying to cover up why people don't like the game, which is a bit iffy. So later on he speaks about how the game is a big free open world kind of thing. So it is a big world, obviously. It's bigger than pretty much every other game.
What he means is that you can move around.
Yeah.
That's very different things.
Yeah.
You actually move around more.
So the game itself is actually very linear. The game has 10 different security cards, and feck knows how many other passes. You got a party pass, a daycare pass, stuff like that, to get into different areas, but it's very linear, and you get what you need to get to the next area.
Yeah, and the passes work the same way. It's like you just go fetch this, fetch it,
and
then go fetch some other thing, go fetch it.
The game is just a big pass collection simulator, basically. To get to the next area, to collect the next pass, to get back to the start. The game is not open world. Everything is very linear. It's blocked off by different passes, 10 different security guards, and stuff like that. It looks like an open world, but it's not. So he says, I don't like the security bots because they alert the animatronics.
They alert the animatronics that you don't like.
I mean, it's fair to not like the security bots because they're honestly a bad mechanic. But his reasons for it are a bit iffy. Because they alert the animatronics. No, I don't like them because they're the most common enemy type, and they appear to be purely thrown in for the sake of adding obstacles when the developers couldn't think of another way to add obstacles.
Honestly, I think they should have just made the normal animatronics. It's funny because the normal animatronics do the same thing the security bots do. They patrol. Yeah. And then they come after you.
The security bots are no, they don't even come after you. They alert the other animatronics to where you are.
True, and they also walk in patterns mostly.
Yeah.
They're really pattern driven.
See, I think they exist to try to make up for the game's poor AI. Because the actual AI of all the animatronics are really bad. But no, you do emphasise there. It is emphasising the mechanics that they are bad AI, because when the security bots catch you, they don't just alert the animatronics to where you are. They teleport the animatronic behind you. Which is, why don't they add a bit of code in that says, when the security bots find you, all of the animatronics on the map make a beeline to where you are, rather than just teleport them to you.
Yeah, that's dumb.
It's a very lazy way to do it.
I don't know, it doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, the security bots...
It implies that they can teleport or some shit? Yeah. I don't know. Or
they do teleport.
What?
They actually do teleport in the game.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're watching Corey play it, there's actually a point where Corey is runs away from one of the animatronics.
Yeah, true they do.
Then he goes down this hallway, and the same animatronics in front of him. They actually do teleport about. But I think the security bots are just a workaround for smart AI because they can't do it themselves. So later on in the video he says,
what I love about Roxanne is that she's very narcissistic.
And he basically talks about all of the animatronics, which is another point, because all of the characters, including Big Freddy, the big man, they're all one-dimensional. They're all really one-dimensional. And there's this illusion that they're fleshed out, and people will, in reviews will say, oh, they're really fleshed out there. You really can relate and shit like that. But all of them,
Really?
all of them have like one defining trait. So Roxanne the wolf is narcissistic. Chica is gluttonous, she likes to eat things. Monty is angry. Freddy is caring. So they all have like this one character trait that they're built around. So it's like, are they really that fleshed out? But this entire section is weird because, I mean, at this point in the video he hasn't reviewed anything yet. So he's just at this point describing the characters. And he goes into like different ways to defeat the characters. But he doesn't review the characters, he doesn't like say, oh, the characters are badly written or good, well written.
And to go with all this, it's like probably the good first 3 minutes or something, just intro. Then this intro, there's lore. He goes and starts talking about the other Five Nights at Freddy's game, and that's the part that like that pissed me off the most.
Yeah.
Like you can say that this game is not what people expected, but like he starts naming every single, Five Nights at Freddy game.
He just
to feel like
he just makes a list.
Trying to prove something.
He just makes a list.
Yeah. And he goes over like, this is this, and the first one's like this, the second one like that.
Yeah, I feel as if he's trying to prove he's played them somehow. You know what I mean?
He's trying to prove that he's a big fan, and he even says so, like Five Nights for Friendly fanboy or something at some point in it.
I mean, he doesn't.
I'm like, dude, you don't have to do that.
I mean, the point is, he doesn't review the game in this video at all. Speaking of being a big Five Nights at Freddy's fan, I spent the edgier years of my teenage years absolutely obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's. No, because like obviously the more recent ones I know fuck all about.
Yeah.
I'm a big strong adult now. This game first came out when I was about 15 or something.
So yeah, so I completely forgot what I was gonna say.
Same. I don't know where I was going with that, to be honest. Basically, I know more about Five Nights at Freddy's than this guy does. Is what I'm trying to say.
You're trying to flex on him too.
You're trying to flex.
You're trying to flex what he did.
I was a fan before you were born, mate.
Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't matter, to be honest. Like, you don't need to have enjoyed all of the previous ones. It's not like one of those games where, like, if you jump into it, you'll never know. You won't understand anything.
Yeah, I mean,
because you need to catch up on like 8 years of lore.
I'll be honest with you. Yeah. With how badly the story tends to be written, you're not going to understand anything anyway.
Even if you play it, you won't know anything.
Like the thing with Five Nights at Freddy's story is that the developer doesn't actually write it. He just like puts like random things in, and he lets the community write it for him. And then the next game.
Oh, I never knew this.
And then the next game, he just takes whatever the most popular theory is and does that. Like I think the first 3 games had a legitimate story.
Okay.
Everything after that was just, you know what, let's look up the biggest theory and do that. And that's why it doesn't really work, I don't think, especially this one. But I'll go into that soon, I've got more to say about that. So the next point he makes is... And
then they did a massive map, a free roam map.
So again, it's not really free roam, everything is locked to push you down a very linear path. And there's like one break off in the story where you can decide where to go. But if you want to complete the game, you need to go back and go the other way anyway. So it's very linear.
True.
And the thing is, like he points out that the map is massive, but the question there is like, is a massive map inherently good?
I think we've already established no. Yeah. I don't know where we did, but somewhere.
I don't think a massive map is inherently good. Though people when they say this game, they're like, oh my god, the map is massive, but there's nothing to do in it. You know, as it stands, there's not much in the map. Unless you're looking for collectibles. You go in the area, you're there for a few minutes, then you're never back. It's quantity over quality for this map. So at this point in the video, he basically goes on a tangent. This is a part where he goes on a tangent about the list of games and stuff like that. So I've got notes here from like 5 minutes, and it just skips to 8 minutes because he doesn't see anything of value in that time. The next thing he says is, Vanny is kind of underwhelming. She looks scary in the trailers, but she's not scary in the game. That's paraphrased because he doesn't actually finish his point.
Yeah, he could have definitely criticized that a little bit more, saying that like it's not what people expected.
So her not being scary isn't the reason why she's underwhelming. The reason she's underwhelming is because throughout the entire game she appears like 2 or 3 times total. even though she's like marketed as like the big villain behind it all. You know what I mean? But you'll play the game.
Facts.
But you'll play the game and you'll forget she exists most of the time. Well, first off, she's got practically identical AI to the other animatronics, so escaping her is as simple as the others. She has that same teleporting shite with the security bots as well. But you know, overall, she was built to be a bigger threat than she actually was. And it appears that the writers just forgot to add her. You'll get to the end and it'll give you like an option to go and see Vanny, to deal with Vanny, but you're like, when was the last time I saw Vanny? I think like for the entire last third of the game, she isn't even there. Okay, and then he says he talks about the end of the game, and he goes, spoiler by the way.
One of the endings, spoilers by the way.
Bit late for that.
Yeah, dude, I had to skip so much of the video because like he was literally spoiling the first few minutes, right? He was talking about like explaining exactly the how the game starts and like everything about the game, and then by halfway he was already like spoiling the endings.
Yeah,
I'm like, bro.
He explains how you defeat every single enemy. He spoils all the endings. He talks about some lore of the game that's kind of he just been describing.
And he says spoilers at the end.
Yeah, he puts a spoiler warning at the end of the video. No, but basically throughout this entire review, he just describes the game's events as opposed to reviewing the game.
I would give it a solid 8 out of 10.
But here's a controversial question: why is it 8 out of 10? It's almost like when you make a review video, you describe your rating and you describe why you feel the way you feel, but he hasn't done that. He didn't talk about any bugs the game has. He didn't talk about positives. Stop.
So that's why I said this is one of the first videos where the review is not actually a review. It's just him talking about.
Like obviously he's young, right? He's not experienced like we are. We are old men. I think we need to give him a bit of advice. So something he should do for future reviews, if he does future reviews, is make a list of pros and cons. That's a good way to start. And make sure that he actually reviews the game by going through his list of pros and cons. You know, for example, does the game have good or bad graphics? Does the game have a lot of bugs or not? Did you feel immersed in the game? Yes or no? I mean, there's loads of things you can talk about, but he doesn't talk about any of it. Anyway, so since he hasn't actually given any points to the game, maybe we should. First off, bugs and optimization. I've already been through this. There's far too many game breaking issues. For example, there's a chance of a kind of late game maze puzzle will just completely break for you, and you'll have to either like wing it, like do the puzzle blindly, which will take you hours to do.
And there's no way to like fix it too?
No, the only way to fix it is to reset your game.
Wow.
And it's a late game puzzle, so it's not like you'd have to go through the entire game again.
You have to restart the entire game, yep.
You would have to, yeah, but the thing is, there's no thing. I don't know why I said the thing is. And the game is filled with plenty of pointless and underused mechanics. There's a time, there's a time that kind of a clock is supposed to be ticking down.
Yeah.
And at the end of every hour, at the end of every hour, a moon guy is supposed to spawn and attack you if you don't like get to a recharge station on time.
I don't think I've seen the moon guy yet.
Yeah. It's gonna sound wild. So basically, there's this mad, like, nonce looking sun man. Right, he hangs out at the daycare, and he's a big sun.
Okay.
And he's
sun
like,
man hands out. Yeah.
And he's got this kind of like pedo, like kind of personality to him.
Energy.
Yeah, he's got that energy to him. And then at night, he turns into this mad, proper, creepy, rapey moon man.
Wait. And that guy wasn't like the main. That could have been the main enemy, you know?
No, you're gonna love it when you get to the point, because he has like really kind of dodgy things that he says, like something like naughty boys have to be punished and things like that.
Oh no. Okay. Oh, that's so unfortunate because they could have actually went in that direction. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah, but so the thing is, this moon guy appears. It's supposed to appear at the end of every hour, right? But but this hour only happens at the end of story points. And 100% of the time he spawns, you will be seconds away from a recharge station. So it's never a real obstacle. And there's also cameras in the game that you don't actually use. I think Corey Kitchen could have ended the game without using the cameras once.
But does it even make sense for the cameras too? Like, did they explain why you can access cameras from anywhere? Because you don't need to be a specific area. You can you pull it out from your pocket or something.
I think their general like reason for it is that Freddy is like hacked into the camera mainframe or whatever, and lets you look at it from the watch.
Oh, okay.
Because Freddy's like some fucking mad. No, Freddy can like give you access to the cameras, but he can't open the fucking doors for you. And I've already spoken about this. The story was rewritten a few times, and all the endings seem like kind of loosely tacked on. They're just relying on the fears to cover their tracks, which is typical for this kind of game, to be honest with you. And another thing is that a lot of people defend this game as like saying that the fans rushed the development. They were like demanding that they got it because there was a lot of like delays and stuff. Although the release of the game makes this kind of suspect, because the game was actually released on the 17th of December. Now, what do you think? What does that imply if the game is released since the 17th of December? Is that they wanted to get out for the Christmas sales? They wanted to get out for the holiday.
Oh, you're right.
Holiday
Yeah. So December is like the most like in terms of finances. Not just games, but like the most profitable month for.
So they could have like held off until January to fix the bugs, but they didn't want to do that. They wanted to get out before Christmas so they would get money from it. But even if there was pressure from the fans, not a single one of those fans are going to say, you know what, I'm not buying this game, because they're too like obsessed with the series. They're too obsessed with the franchise. They've already spent years thinking about it, already spent years writing the story for it, spent years theorising on it. They're not going to drop it because of a delay. It's simple as that. Yeah, like me. Just give me the damn game. Right, and this last point I've got here. So the game's biggest twist, right, is the same twist that's been getting used in almost every single game to date. So you know how the purple guy's from the first game and all the other games? Yeah. You know how like in nearly every game he either dies or gets beaten or...
Yeah.
And then he comes back the next game because of unexplained reasons. He's a ghost and a toaster now. Big twist here, big plot twist. He's back. Again. Ooh. That's it? Yeah, he's like the official final enemy, the canon final enemy. And you get like a big boss fight with him at the end. And it's like, okay, cool, boss fight, but it's just the same twist that's in every single FNAF game. This same guy is supposed to be dead, will come back. That. But yeah, that's the twist, that's the big reveal. He's actually alive. Woohoo. Yeah, twist that doesn't matter. Okay. But it's just such a stupid... you've convinced me to get this game now. You're in depth. No, not this game. You really sold me on 5 Nights in at Chumbuckets. Whatever. Because at this point, I'm sure like any game would be any 5 Nights at Freddy clone. Would probably do a similar job, if not better. Screw purple guy. I want pink man. Pink starfish man. So I mean, to summarize this video, this guy's video wasn't a review. It was just him describing the game. That's what it was. He barely gave his thoughts on it. Grabbing the game and making jokes along the way. And that's the whole video. I mean, maybe it'll improve. Maybe he'll watch this video and take something away from it. But other than that, you know, I don't think we don't know how to end this shit.